Chelsea win 2-1 over Copenhagen in the Europa Conference League, which we're going to talk about what I thought about this match because, yes, obviously Chelsea won 2-1, but there are a few huge things we need to talk about with Chelsea, with Enzo Maresca, and with this squad. Now, first off, I do want to talk about the first half. I thought the first half was very lackluster, to say the least, and I think that was part of our issue in this match because the first half was really just Copenhagen sitting back. We didn't do too much. Yeah, we did pick up an injury to Malagusto, and I think that did actually change throughout this entire match with Cucurella coming onto that left side pitch because obviously he was doing so much, and we will talk about him a little bit more in this video. But that first half, there was really nothing from Chelsea that really shocked me. And yeah, again, I understand certain players that we had starting this match did make sense. We were probably trying to rest a few players, but the fact is we didn't do anything until that second half. We made multiple substitutions, and Cuckoo came on, Enzo Fernandez came on, and those guys were huge factors in this match. And we came out playing very well. We scored very early. Cucurella played a perfect ball to Reece James, who again was playing a little bit deeper in that CDM role with Caicedo in that first half. And I think he did quite well in that position. I think that is a spot that he could possibly move into. And obviously, we've talked about this at the beginning of the season and even last year with Pochettino, that this is a guy that can play into that position and it doesn't put as much wear and tear on his legs. And this is a spot that, again, might make more sense if we're trying to be a little more defensively or, again, have a guy that can play in that role instead of having Caicedo drop into that right back position. But I digress. Cucurella made a perfect ball to Reece James, hits it one time from about 20 yards out, and he pretty much just passes it into the near post corner. And there's nothing the goalkeeper can do about that because it's being a first-time touch. He's not even set yet as he's moving where the ball is seeing, and once he hits it, he can't even reach to it. It's, again, a perfect placement shot by Reece James, who, again, had a pretty good game overall, and this really did set the tone for Chelsea in the second half because from there, Copenhagen obviously had to come over their defensive shell, had to start pushing forward, and they really couldn't do much for quite some time. Chelsea eventually did go on to score another goal. Cucurella also being involved in that one, and Cuckoo did win the ball back, but it's because Cucurella was there to help him win that ball back. Finds George, who then plays a ball to Enzo Fernandez, who also hits it one time and finds the back net. So Chelsea go up 2-0. And this is where I have my issue because at 2-0, you're thinking that Chelsea are going to go out and win the rest of this match, not have any issues, and possibly score multiple goals, going up 4-0 and keeping a clean sheet. They don't. That is the problem. Chelsea then pretty much take their foot off the gas, really don't have many more opportunities during that time frame. And Copenhagen, yes, did have a chance where they hit the post before we scored that second goal, but really they then started pushing forward, started attacking, and obviously they have to because they're going to Stamford Bridge. They're already 2-0 down. They can't really go to Stamford Bridge not having any goals, so obviously they started pushing forward, and Chelsea did not have an answer for them. Yes, it was a stupid foul to get that free kick off to the left side, and yes, that was a perfect or near perfect free kick taken. Again, Colwell, made a perfect jump. It was hit so perfectly, and it's such a good header that I don't think Sanchez can actually save that ball. Yes, he does get a hand to it, and again, you could argue that because he gets a hand to it, maybe he should save it, but it's the fact that they got a set piece, they then score that goal, they go now 2-1 into the last dying minutes of this match. And really, now you're starting to see Chelsea really start to be frantic and start to worry. And again, they start having a lot of these issues. We're not making perfect passes. And because of that, now we're having more errors. And Copenhagen could sniff that. They were starting to push back into this match, and they, I think, came pretty close to actually scoring again. They had a corner kick late into the game, which, again, surprisingly, we only had one corner in this entire match, but it was an opportunity for Copenhagen to get another goal back, really against the entire match. But the fact is that Chelsea haven't been able to close matches out, and they couldn't do it again in this match. Yes, like I said, they did win 2-1, but really Copenhagen only going down a goal, going to Stamford Bridge, anything can happen in that match. Copenhagen can still come into Stamford Bridge, sit back, and really just try to hit Chelsea on the counterattack. Now, granted, Chelsea can obviously sit back too. They don't have to push for a goal. They can win with a draw, but still, Copenhagen don't have to worry as much next week, and this is a little worrisome because now Chelsea have to go into that match and actually have to utilize players that we should have been resting. We took off Cole Palmer. We took off a few other players. We even picked up injuries in this match, and the fact is we have been picking up injuries throughout this entire season with the Premier League coming up this weekend again. I would not be surprised if some of our guys are not going to be fully rested next week against Copenhagen. And this is a tournament that Chelsea should be walking all the way to the final. Again, once you get to the final, anything can happen. So I'm not going to say they should win this easily because, like I said, anything once you get to that final, a player can get sent off, an injury, things happen crazy in a final. But Chelsea should be making the final. But right now, there is a little worrisome as fans, as Chelsea, because, like I said, Copenhagen are only down a goal now. A goal down going to Stamford Bridge hasn't been that difficult this entire season. Now, way back when, a couple seasons ago, obviously that was a different story. But right now, with this Chelsea side, with Enzo Maresca, it's not the same at Stamford Bridge. It is not a fortress anymore. Teams come in, they score goals, and we let up so many goals, and this is going to be worrisome because if Chelsea somehow do get knocked out of this conference league, it is going to be a slap in the face. It's just going to show you how terrible this season has been. And yes, we could still finish in the top four, and that would redeem it, but really, Chelsea should be winning this entire tournament and should be lifting up some type of silverware at the end of the season because, like I said, the amount of players we have, the depth, the money we spent, everything you look at this side, again, dwarfs the entire competition throughout this entire tournament, and therefore, again, this is something that Chelsea should be winning. But like I said, there now is a little worrisome going into that next match, that second leg at Stamford Bridge against Copenhagen. And yes, they do have a few guys that are now going to be out due to suspension, so again, maybe that does favor Chelsea. But like I said, this is going to be a match that Chelsea now have to put more energy into, which we obviously don't want to exert too much because of the league itself, because we still want to finish in the top four or top five, depending on how you want to look at it. But still, now we have to use players and possibly use them for a full 90, and therefore, again, we play that Thursday day, and then we go back into the weekend again to play in the league. And again, it's so difficult being a fan because, like I said, you want to see us dominate games and control games and just win games out, getting clean sheets, and we've been struggling with that. And because of that, like I said, this is going to be one of those things where really right now Chelsea need to dig deep, start winning matches and dominating matches, because if we can start doing that, we'll start getting that confidence back. And like I said, get back to winning ways, lifting trophies, lifting silverware, and again, getting back in the top four and eventually winning the Premier League as well. So I do want to know, what do you guys think about this match? Who do you think your man of the match was? For me, I do think it was Cucurella. I think, again, he didn't score but had an assist, but overall, once he came on, made a huge difference, and I would argue he might right now be Chelsea's best player. Maybe Caicedo. I mean, I could argue, obviously, both those guys, but both those guys are a huge factor for Chelsea right now, and the fact that both of them had to play this match and probably going to have to play their next match too, again, that is going to tire their legs out, and that could be a huge factor at the end of this season. So, again, I am a little worrisome with what happens next week, but I think Chelsea still managed to move on, but again, it's a little more difficult than it should be. So if you did like this video, I greatly appreciate if you do hit the like button, subscribe down below. I will see you in the next video.